Hello everyone, I just wanted to make a video today because I've been thinking about some stuff. It's going to be pretty depressing. I mean, we live in exciting times right now. Fallout 4 just got announced, if you haven't seen the trailer for that. GTA 5 came out this year. I just watched Game of Thrones for this week, and my goodness, I'm not going to spoil anything except to say that winter is no longer coming. Winter just came all over my face. Winter has arrived in the middle of June. Holy shit, that was a good episode. So, games, TV, everything's looking good. We've had a lot of good TV shows. We've had Walking Dead, we've had Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, all those AMC shows, all the Netflix news shows, Dexter, ambulances interrupting videos, all this good stuff. So we live in exciting times. But I wanted to make a video about how things have been getting progressively worse. And I want to talk to you guys. There are some of my younger viewers. I know a lot of you started watching me when you were like a baby. Somebody said the other day, Tito, I've been watching your videos since I was a fetus. So a lot of you don't know what it's like growing up in the 80s. And I'm going to tell you kind of what it was like, because it was pretty awesome living in the 80s. And I'd like to be able to get back to that. So now somebody just linked this picture, by the way, of Facebook, or on Facebook, of Fallout 3, which was released in 2008, and then the subway tunnels, it has like 2015 Boston on there as like the time that the Boston subway was leaving. Like they predicted the new Fallout would be in Boston in 2015 or something in 2008. What? That's crazy. Anyway, so I'm kind of at a crossroads right now, where, see, the dollar has been progressively getting worth less and less. And you don't really notice this if you're rich or if you're not buying your own groceries and stuff. I guess if you're like a kid or something, but like you can tell that things are worth, the dollar's worth less and things are costing more. Because like the rent on my apartment goes up every year, seems like. And I don't make any more money. I don't get raises where I'm at. So if the dollar keeps going down, everything costs more. So I'm needing more money, and everything's costing more on top of that. So it's like a double effect. I'm double dipping into the bad parts of not having. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's like a double dip. Like if you're playing Hearthstone or something. Everything's costing more, and the dollar's worth less. So it's twice as bad. For example, when I was like 16 or whatever, and I got my license, price of gasoline was like $1.09 for unleaded, $1.19 maybe, $1.26 for premium. I remember that was like the prices when I started driving. And then we had that big spike with the Gulf crisis, wherever the war broke out, and everything went crazy high. And I think it's like $5 in some places. But like it kind of leveled out, but it's still like real spiky. The changes in prices keeps going dramatically different. Like Thursday or Friday last week, I was thinking about getting gas because it was like $2.48, $2.49, about the cheapest I could find it. And I thought, well, the price never changes over the weekend because the managers are all like at home. They don't come in and change prices until Monday. So I usually get gas on Monday mornings when I get off work. Monday morning, 2-3 days later, the price was $2.79. It jumped 30 cents over the weekend. Like, that's unheard of that the price would go up 30 cents at all, ever, when I was growing up. It would take like 10 years for the price to go up like 10 or 15 cents. But over the weekend, it went up 30 cents. That's how crazy the prices and things are getting. So I'm getting to where I'm going to have to move, I think. But everything is kind of going up with the same prices as my apartment, so everything is kind of getting higher. Like, I could either get another job, which I'd be working twice as much, which is kind of like everybody's being forced into like trying to make more money or getting another job somehow. I think pretty soon everybody's going to be like broke and homeless and shit's just going to hit the fan, but I don't know. I can either find a cheaper place or I can get another job and stay here. Either way, it's going to suck, because if I find another place, then I got to find another job, and probably a shittier job, and then you never know how good your job stability is, if you're going to get fired within a week, you never know if you're going to like it. A lot of questions up in the air about it. But like another way you can tell shit is getting out of control is go to the pharmacy in Walmart or any pharmacy. The razor blades, the fucking, they're in these plastic cases like video games used to be in. Like a pack of 10 or 5 replaceable razor blades for like a, what is it, a Bic or a Gillette or the Schick, whatever they are. They're like $25, $30 or something for a pack, or $40 or something crazy. So they put them in these like alarm cases now. You can't even get razor blades. So I've had to switch to disposable razors. Another way my life has been affected by this crazy economy. And that's pretty nuts. But then, like, look at this shirt. See these holes in my shirt? This is like a real thin material. I remember back in the 80s, shirts were just shirts. They were all like half cotton, half polyester blend. They were like thick. They were the same thickness. A shirt is a shirt is a shirt. Now you got these cheap ass shirts that are real thin, because it's like getting cheap ass sheets with a low thread count on your bed. They're making cheaper shirts because I guess shit costs more, and the companies are forced to make shit cheaper, and things are falling apart easier. Like a shirt used to last, but I have a tendency to chew on my shirts, which causes this thing to happen. This thing. But not over, this is like a 2-year-old shirt. It would take me like 5-6 years before the shirt would start to go bad back in the 80s. But microwaves, I was thinking about getting a new microwave the other day because my door was sticking. I've had the same microwave for probably 20 years. And it is a fucking champ. It's a Sharp Carousel. Fantastic microwave because it was built back when things were built to last. And then somebody got it in their minds that if we make shit that falls apart after like a year, people have to keep buying our shit. And that's how people make money. It's like with cancer. Supposedly there's all these cancer cures out there, and there are people talking about feeding AIDS cancer cells, and they get used to it. And then if you give somebody the right kind of AIDS, they manipulate it with gene therapy or whatever, the AIDS will eat your cancer, and it cures cancer. Plus there's like cannabinoid oil or whatever from marijuana. There's like all these cures for cancer, but nobody will put it out because it's more profitable for all your family members to get cancer and die and have to take like all their expensive lasers. Not lasers, what do they use for cancer? I guess they use some lasers, like chemotherapy and whatever, radiation therapy. That's what I was thinking. So I don't even know how they come up with prices for hospitals. It always seems to be rounded out to the nearest $1,000 somehow. Like, I want to see an itemized list of exactly what you're charging for and how it costs exactly something $1,000 every time. Because I think they're just making shit up. And if you buy like some surgery that involves like a big camera, a tube going up your ass or down your throat or in your body, and you're paying for it, so why don't they give you that camera at the end? I bet you they're reusing those goddamn cameras, and they're using some kind of tubes with some kind of sterile plastic over it that they can pop that cheap plastic tube off and pop a new one on, and they keep their camera, but everybody gets charged for the fucking camera. That's how they make their money. That's how they get you. Fuck hospitals. I'm not going to the hospital. If I get sick, if I have a heart attack, I'm just going to die from it. I've decided I'm just going to fucking die from it. I don't care. I've lived long enough. I'm having some good times. I'm kind of done. I don't really care if I live anymore. So fuck it. I'm not paying a bunch of stingy ass people thousands of dollars to like pretend to help me, and so I'll get sick again in a fucking year. Who cares? But here's the rub. Here's how you really can tell the prices of shit getting out of control. It's all about junk food. Sodas, candy bars, potato chips, things of that nature. Let me show you. I was thinking about this. I was trying to make a list of things that are getting out of control when I was sitting here with a soda in my can, and I was like, well, the prices of a 16-ounce can of soda is like, it used to be 50 cents, and then now it's like 75, 80 cents, and I was like, wait a minute. And I looked at it. It says 12 fluid ounces on here. Like, fucking, it's not even a 16-ounce can of soda anymore. I'm pretty sure back in the 80s, cans of soda were 16 ounces, because I used to work at a convenience store, and like they had the little styrofoam cups, and the 12-ounce cups was like for the small cup of coffee. People come in the morning and they need their jolt of caffeine. That's what a 12-ounce was. And a can of soda, I'm pretty sure, was 16 ounces. But this, 12 fluid ounces. So, if they made these cans shorter, and it's like, you know that thing about if you want to boil a frog, you slowly heat it up. If you put him in boiling water, he jumps out, but if you slowly heat up the thing, you don't notice it, and the frog gets boiled. because this is like you hold cans of soda all the time, so you kind of feel the weight of it and the size of it. But as this gotten shorter, and we just didn't pay attention, because all you got to do is you change the packaging of shit, and nobody notices. Like you change the cardboard box that they come in, so it all fits in there the same, so nobody notices it. It's not like rattling around because they're smaller because they changed the cardboard box. 12 to 16, that's 25% loss. Imagine if you bought 4 55-gallon drums of oil for a certain price, like in the 80s, and now, with the same amount of money, you can only buy 3 of them. You're going to notice that one extra fucking 55-gallon drum gone. This little 4 ounces here, you buy like probably thousands of these a year, you're not going to notice that 25% gone, but it's the same thing. A lot of little things is the same as one big thing. So that's some bullshit. But here's how you catch them right when they're changing their shit around. Look at this. Fucking Pringles, man. I saw this at Walmart. Look at that. You see the difference? This is the new cans they're coming out with. Here's the old cans. I think there might have even been like a bigger can than this. So this one has already gotten shorter, and this one is even shorter than that. But back in the 80s, fucking Pringles, they were thicker, they were bigger. They would fit in the goddamn can better. Let me show you this. Look at the size of this Pringle. Wait a minute. Was it? See how it doesn't fit? That's like, it's supposed to be as big as the goddamn can. And it's thin and flaky and shit. You could look at that. There's holes. You could see through this Pringle. It's like transparent. You see that line right there? You see that? It's not even thick enough to fucking block light out. They've made it as thin as fucking possible. They've shrunk it down. They've shrunk the size of the can. And then when you get a brand new can, look, this one's brand new. We're going to open it up. The Pringles, they don't start at the top of the can. They're like down like here. This is where they start, and they're smaller and they're thinner, and it's garbage. That is how they fucking rip you off. Cheaper packaging, smaller shit, thinner material. It all adds up. Fucking ripping people off. That is fucking crazy. So candy bars also, they used to be like 50 cents. And now they're like 90 cents. They're right at the tipping point where they know if we charge $1, people are going to notice that the price has gone up from half a dollar to a whole dollar, plus tax $1.05, and it's like, what the fuck is this candy bar? Like, it's over $1 now. But if you just keep it just under $1, maybe people will still pay 90 cents. I get pissed off when I pay 90 cents for a candy bar because it's like, I know you're ripping me off, but I really want this goddamn sugar in my system right now. But I don't know. What are we gonna do about this? Well, I don't know. Like, you saw me having to buy this new chair. Like, my chairs are falling apart every year too. That's another example of shit being built to fall apart. I think we need just to kind of like go back to the 80s. I think the 80s was about the good point. I'm probably just saying that because I grew up in the 80s and I'm nostalgic for my own era. But I think about, like, let's look at the decades of the 20th century. The 20th century where shit kind of went from, like, the 1800s was all like frontier western garbage. Nobody knew anything. Everybody was dying from colds and shit. Then you got the Great Depression, you know, like the Roaring 20s was kind of like the beginning of the movie industry and stuff. And like people dancing, having fun, having a good time. Then you had like the 30s or shit, and World War I and World War II broke out in the 40s. 50s were kind of flaky, but then like the 60s, the 50s and 60s, the end of the 50s and the beginning of the 60s, that's kind of like the Leave It to Beaver times when everybody was all like, hey, how do you do? Walking down the street, everybody's all nice, everybody wears the same suit and hat, everybody's like nice to each other and shit. And that's when they started building shit to fucking last. All these companies and industries started getting all innovative because we just had all this technology from World War II. Everybody is like making good shit. Everybody's having a good time, but they're all like stiff and rigid, and they're all kind of like they're just what do you call it? People that are the prudes. Everybody's a big prude. So then you got the 60s. Everybody kind of figured out birth control pills, and in the 70s you had the crazy sexual revolution of free love and the drugs and LSD and shit everywhere. But shit still wasn't really quite good enough. But then you got the 80s. The 80s was kind of the beginning of the computing age, the video games, the TV shows, stuff started like making sense. In the 90s, it kind of all went gay with the NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff, and things kind of fell apart from there. But we need to kind of go back to the 80s, but keep that kind of roaring 20s fun times with the good, industrious building part of the 60s, with the free love and the drugs and the LSD from the hippies from the 70s, but put it all into the fucking 80s, but keep our goddamn internets from 2015. Boom, add it back into the 80s. We need to have like a new 80s with all the good parts of the 20th century plus the internet, and maybe get rid of smartphones. I don't like the smartphones. The smartphones are distracting everyone. Everybody's crashing their cars. Everybody's looking down all the time. Saw a picture the other day. Somebody put a Photoshop of like tan lines from the 2015. It's like hands covering your midsection because everybody's looking at their phones so the sun can't reach it right here. It's going to be a problem. I think the smartphone's going to go. We need to go back to like, not the Saved by the Bell giant cell phones, but like flip phones. A lot of people are going back to flip phones, just using it as a phone. Forget about texting and all this other crap on your phone. I mean, I'm using mine right now to make notes that I can remember what to talk about in this video, but it's just it's an easy notepad. But like back in the 80s, you guys, the 80s were so awesome. You guys don't even know because you're kids. Like right now, the phones are distracting everybody from social life. You can't meet people. All this crazy feminist shit's going on right now because everybody's on Facebook, like getting all their panties wet over some shit somebody says on the internet, because it's just the internet. But nobody's actually talking to each other. So like back in the 80s, you'd have to go to the fucking movie rental store and you'd meet people. You'd go to the record store and you'd buy CDs and cassette tapes. And you'd see somebody looking at music like, oh, you're into this band. Well, let's talk about it. And you'd have conversations. Not anymore. There's no reason for that. Everything's now like one hit song on MP3. They don't have like albums of songs where you're supposed to listen to the songs in a certain order and you know like what came before and after your favorite song and how like it fit into the whole thing. Like back in, you'd have to go to the movie rental place and you'd rent a VHS tape that somebody has taken out of the box, put it in their own plastic box, and written on the title. So you'd have like some stranger's handwriting at your house where you've borrowed this thing off of them for $2.50. And a lot of the movie rental places, they would double up as like a tanning salon or a furniture store, so you'd have other people there for other reasons. You'd be looking at like the porn section. Some hot chick would be coming in to get her tan, and you're like, oh shit, I'm just covered with sexuality right now at the video rental store. I gotta go to the video rental store. It was just fun times. And there was arcades. I don't even know where you go to. I guess the movie theater has a few arcade games, but nobody goes to the arcade anymore to like pop down some quarters on some fucking Mortal Kombat or some Street Fighter or some X-Men arcade. Replace the freaking hang-on. That fuck you on a goddamn motorcycle. Nobody does that shit anymore. I don't know. We need to have something that takes people back to the 80s. I always wanted to have like my own movie theater with an arcade and like a little restaurant inside of it and shit. Maybe that's what I need to do. If I just had some money, I don't have any money. Could we even do that nowadays with shit the way it is with politics? And, you know, everything's going to shit in the internet. Pizza Hut, by the way, back in the 80s, they had a better recipe for the pizza. It was like real... I've already talked about Pizza Hut pizza, how good it was, and now it's kind of shittier. They chop shit up and it would embed it in the cheese. I think I've mentioned this probably in 2 or 3 more videos because it's a peeve point of mine that I've talked about before. But yeah, we used to have people just drove around in cars. That's how you would just hang out. You just drive up and down the same stretch of road till you saw somebody you knew. Because gas was cheap, we were just blowing through it. I don't understand how we're running out of gasoline, but there's the same amount of air traffic, like the same amount of flights all over the country every day, and they're just burning through jet fuel every day at a crazy amount. Like, where does it all come from? Why do they keep bringing in gallons and gallons and tons of gasoline for these planes to fly around? I don't understand it. Like, where do you need to go that's so important you need to fly a plane all the time? I've never had a need to fly a plane. I don't understand people that have these jobs where they have to have a meeting in some place. Just use fucking Skype. We have the internet. Why do you have to go to some place to talk to somebody? Huh? I don't get it. I mean, I kind of understand like comedians and singers and people that have to go to these concerts and venues all over the country. Business people, what the fuck are you doing? What do you need to fly around in planes for? You're just wasting our tiny resource. It's going to be gone because there's only so many dinosaurs that roll around and plankton and things that have turned into oil. It's all going to be. I saw something today where France is making it a law, or if you make any new buildings, you have to have grass on top of it or solar panels because we just don't have gas anymore. So fuck you. Don't know new buildings unless you're gonna put energy back into the grid. Man. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this bullshit right here? These are the good times, and these are the times we're living in now. Zesty salsa, I highly recommend. That's the brand. Do not get mango salsa. This is garbage. This is like a fruity, weird flavor. I tried it with some like Spanish rice and chicken. There was a lot of weird, exotic flavors in my mouth, but by itself, this mango sauce is garbage. I don't like it.